Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to do another One Piece chapter review, chapter 1057, The End. And before anyone asks, no, this is not the last chapter of One Piece, but more of the end of the Wano Arc. Joke aside, but yeah. Let's see, we're after about 140-ish so to 150-ish so chapters, the Wano Country Arc and Wano Saga has, or maybe even Yonko Saga, depending how you ask, has finally gotten to a conclusion. This is the last chapter of the arc. And boy, was it a controversial one from what I have seen online and other YouTubers. But yes, what are those controversies? What are my own thoughts of them? We'll probably find out. But anyway, before we begin, another Jammer 66's An Emotionless Excursion, Volume 16, Caesar's Poison Gas Attack, in which we see him aiming his poison gas, and it appears to be a Katakuri versus like a Ichini or Sanji's eldest brother and all that stuff, seemingly helping the Germ a lot against the Big Mom pirates. Anyway, we begin with the opening chapter where we get of Wano, of the teacher that was now re-educating all those students in Wano, describing the tale of to the Wano citizens of how the raid on Omikashima happened in order to liberate Wano and free the country from Kaido and Orochi's evil tyrant authoritarian rule. There we go. As he describes this about how it's like the blue, and as you can tell with the way it goes, like the blue dragons below set every beast howling. One part Habu, the sheets of autumn rain beset the crippling maple curtain, as an example of that. Talking about how the Scabbards fought bravely to avenge like the death of Kosuke Oden and all that stuff. As he's telling the crowd, he hopes the attempt to tell this tale to justice and all that stuff. As he just said, as he begin the evening of the Fire Festival. Anyway, we cut to the woods to Toku Port, and where it's revealed that Yamato is not going out to sea, and decided that he's already told Luffy and his friends that he's not going just yet. With Momosuke and Kimio confused because Yamato wants to come out and all that stuff and be freer from Wano and all that stuff. But Yamato decided that in order to fully follow Oden's footsteps, he will first try and he or she will first try to travel across the Wano country and learn about it and all that stuff the way he did. So she'll do that first before he sets out and all that stuff and joins Luffy's crew later. And as Momos confirms that he'd already cleared this up with Luffy and the rest of his crew. It seems to anger him because it seems to feel like this is a bit of a humiliation to him, leaving a word without him and all that stuff. As we've cut back to flashback of when he was holding to Kaido to when he first met Luffy, one of his arguments, his argument with him in Dressrosa. Him asking Momo, is he a figurehead or not? Him saying, and how they teamed up to make an alliance. Luffy complimenting him on his speech when he was being taken away by Conjuro, and the moment he says his name in front of the Beast Pirates. And the moment when he asks them to fly, Luffy, as he's been turned into a giant dragon form, to fly to Omegashima to have its rematch against Kaido. Thinking as he thinks back to how they may have not been the best of friends, but he's wondering after a long journey that those things really mean nothing to him. Though he seems to think Luffy has made mistakeness about rudeness for independence, asking if Kimura if he's wrong about this, which he seems to agree with Momonosuke, and that if Luffy doesn't give him a good answer, he's willing to cut Luffy down. And Momonosuke seems to think this is the way of the warrior. With Yamato saying that, I think you guys are taking it too far, not to be mad about it. Even though he feels like they're being humiliated. Anyway, next year at Toguport, where Law tells Luffy that if they ever encounter each other again, they're enemies. So they'll fight to the death and all that stuff. Yet Luffy says he understands, but Chopper tries to be friendly and says, see you later, but Law tells him to shut up, much to like Chopper's surprise and disappointment, with Kid telling them to just get the ship ready. Anyway, Momonosuke ends up, finally catching up, asking them to wait a moment, as Angry shouts, there they are, and all that stuff. We're also just saying, hi, we come to see you off, with everyone shouting their names, and Sanji going, Yamato! In the same way he'd go with, like, Nami! Or Nami Swan, or Robin-chan. I think in some translations it's Chan. But yeah, Momonosuke then turns to his human form, grabbing Luffy, but Yamato was also jumping on him, all that stuff. Let's see, with Momonosuke being angry at him, asking what he thinks he's doing and all that stuff. And how about how they've been along with him without everyone else and they haven't said a word goodbye and all that stuff. With Kimio going on about how the Shogun is furious with him and he needs to explain himself. But Luffy saying, well, you're here now. Let's see, with Momonosuke doing an order from declaring an order from the Shogun in this very serious and anger, but then starts crying, telling him to not leave him, as he miss him so much. And he wants him to stay with him forever, and he doesn't want them to say goodbye to him, which shocks Luffy, and King Orga's like, he's still a kid down inside, if you will. As he thinks about it's because of Luffy that he's managed to survive and all that stuff. And also do other things like laugh again, avenge his parents. And he can't really know how to express himself, and he doesn't know what to do, and he's scared of what happens. He sees either the Straw Hats smiling or crying at his words, like Frankie and Chopper. Robin and Brock are smiling, while also Jimbo is smiling. As he hears him going, please don't go. So just laughing about how Momonosuke is being a little pathetic or childish, but Nami's also crying about how Momo can't really help it. He's still just a boy on the inside. But anyway, but Luffy asks Usopp to bring him a copy of what is his pirate flag. Much to Momonosuke's surprise, as he tells him that we're going to give him to that since he knows what he's like in the inside. He may be let's see, Larry, he might be a shogun now. He's still like that little kid who's acting all cowardly and all that stuff, and a bit of a crybaby. But Luffy does view him like a little brother, and says that to always look at this flag to remember their time to see adventures in the sea together, and that with this flag, let's see, hang it over Wano, so that if anyone shows up to cause them trouble, let's see, and tells them to let them see it, and they know that if anyone messes with them, it's, let's see, they're picking a fight with him. I think in the Fizz Fizz translation here, saying that anyone that messes with anyone he regards as his crew, or let's see, his crew, there would particularly be a fight. So Momonosuke asks if this means he's one of them. So Momonosuke is officially an unofficial Straw Hat, if you will. as Luffy ends up telling Kimimo and Yamato and all that, and him that if they ever want to be pirates, they just say the word and call him, and they'll come along to pick them up. With Kimimo laughing at this, and Yamato going yes, and all that stuff. But anyway, he tells Momosuke that reminder he doesn't take in weaklings, and this stops Momosuke from crying and starts nodding his head. With Luffy asking Yamato to watch out for him, which she says she will, as Luffy then gives the order to set sail, with Kimon telling him to keep it together. Well, the others are telling, and all the other Straw Hats telling him to keep it together, and he can do it and all that stuff. With let's see, Momosuke then telling Kimimon that someday in the future he will surpass Kazuki Oden, which he laughs and says he'll be there to see it, with Yamato asking if it's referring to him, and let's see, Kimimon, or maybe both Momosuke saying, no, not you! Anyway, let's see, and as the Straw Hats are about, let's see, we got the destination in which apparently they go on, no, actually, where Nami says that they need to go to Hamoki, where the formal port is, so they can take the lift down from the waterfall. With both Chopper and Brock saying it's a relief that they don't have to crash down the wave and all that stuff, but unfortunately for them, Killer ends up, let's see, mocking them to going down the proper port because it's a safe idea. And all that stuff, calling them about a couple of losers who are scared and all that stuff. This angers Luffy and Law, which is like safe and secure. I feel like being, let's see, angered by his words. And they end up, you get Luffy stealing, let's see, you get the crew for both Luffy and Law telling him to like not to listen to Kid, that it's safe and just follow the safe route and all that stuff. No need to go there and just take the Luffy and not jump off the waterfall. But Luffy ends up taking the wheel from Jinbei, much to the dismay of his crew. And they all fall off the waterfall at the same time. And you hear everyone going, Rah! As you see, like, a close-up of Kid, Luffy, and Law's face and screaming and all that stuff, probably thinking, oh, this was a mistake. As we get here a bit of a narration about how Momosuke and Kimimo recruited mighty brigands to fight their side, or rogues, or some travelers, depending on whichever translation you're reading, to like lead a battle against, against, like the forces of the Beast Pirates, and goes about how neither Kaido, the Dragon King, nor the Ghastly Orion could complete, referring to like Big Mom. Apparently their deaths split the skies, so let's not forget to that bit later. And meanwhile, Orochi, who was like burning to death and all that stuff, was managed to still being alive for just a little bit longer for his relevance to try and attack Princess Hiyori. No, actually. And just as he was still burning alive and all that stuff, was trying to attack Princess Hiyori, but was sliced by the second of Oden's faithful followers, Denjiro. And apparently, just like the black coal of his family name, the final head of Kazumi Orochi burned to a crisp. With apparently a great thunder of Ogamashimo and Kaido the Dragon King plummeted to the earth and all that stuff. Talking about how at last Wano Storm was covered away for 20 years. But in like his last moments, even though he was burning and all that stuff, he said, the wrath of the Kasumi clan will curse this country unto its last generation. But Hiyori, the princess, after witnessing Wano suffering for 20 years, ends up replying to no longer afraid of unwavering her gaze and all that stuff. even though from the warnings of Denjiro not to get too close, even though she pushed him aside and all that stuff. As she declared that she will do a speech while pointing a fan in his direction, bearing the Kozuki seal and all that stuff. And after everything that's happened to the country, her family, and all that stuff, she apparently spoke, with the crowd getting excited as the teacher ends up saying, everyone to say it with her, as she ends up saying, Kazumi was born to burn, mimicking like Odin's, like, I am Odin. I was born to born to boil. With this last moment, Orochi, screaming in pain, apparently dies of the flame. They're just shocked by her words as the crowd screams. And it seems like, and then the music plays. More sort of speech about the tale of this. Let's see a story and all that stuff. As you see the crowd cheering about how once the great noble clan stood again, and the final panel of this, second. Well, as we then see all the main sort of major characters that we have seen in Wano, Momosuke in the front with like Denjiro. Then Scabbards, Tama, Yamato, also Raizo, who's now back to his normal self, and Shinobu, all crowded around Momogosuke as the narration goes, this has been the saga of the mighty samurai regaining their lost glory to the shrine as before. Apparently then going about all the time we have today, while our ways might part for now. May our paths cross again someday, somewhere, as Momosuke, along with Kimo and Yamato, being greeted by a few people, is just now deciding where he shall, fly this flag, as the curtains on Wano close, and we have the narration of the end, ending the chapter. Okay, that sort of narration, that summary took longer than I was expecting. I apologize. But yeah, this was our final chapter, and it was a very controversial one. The first bit being, of course, the fact that Yamato is not joining the crew. This is a very, very controversial thing, because just the last chapter, it sounded like she made up her mind to set sail with the Straw Hat, and then this last panel, it feels like this now for like the second page of the chapter. Yamato is saying that she's not joining the Straw Hats just yet, and let's see. For me, people, after 2 years of hype of her, of like this being possibly the next crew member of the Straw Hats. And then for that stuff, and then with like the last chapter being like, oh, yeah, Cat's not joining, so Yamato is now. It's like, oh, Yamato is also not joining, and it's like, so no new Straw Hat after Wano, and just Jinbei. Let's see, unless you count Jinbei, but he technically joined on Whole Cake Island, but was absent for a bit for Wano and all that stuff. But yeah. So it's like after this build up, Oda just seems to have changed his mind last minute and all that stuff. Now, from my understanding, now I know that manga chapters are not done. The next one a week after the other one. There's at least a few They do at least a couple of chapters before the next one. So this wasn't like a last minute change. It didn't feel like a last minute change from last week and all that stuff. So but who knows? Now whether or not this was some sort of editorial interference with like, no, we don't add Yamato to the crew, or something like that. But yeah, or just they just decide, you know what, I'm not going to have Yamato join the Straw Hats just yet or something. But it feels out of place, especially since it was cut, since it feels like Yamato told them off screen and all that stuff, and we didn't really see why Yamato got this mindset, but he does explain that because like he wants to be like Odin. It's it's best that Yamato, he travels, or he or she travels around Wano a bit, learn the place a bit before heading off to sea and then joining Luffy and all that stuff. Now, from what I can tell, some people, those who are not like Yamato fans, are probably happy about this because they don't like Yamato's character because or they feel like the Yamato character needs to learn to like not be Odin, not to act like Odin and all that stuff. Or some are disappointed that Yamato's still going down that path. Now, whether or not, let's see. Now, this has always been a bit of but it's also caused a bit. Now, it's probably also caused Yamato has, of course, led to many debates about is this character trans? What gender should you refer to Yamato as? Even I'm having a bit hard time deciding which gender to pronounce Yamato as and all that stuff. Okay. But yeah. So yeah, let's see. So due to that, let's see. But regardless, due to that, Yamato, of course, has been very controversial. The anti-Yamato fans, or those at least anti-Yamato joining the crew, will probably be happy, though they might not like the reasons. I mean, I can probably see where Yamato gets from here, but I feel like we really needed to see Yamato more gradual look into this conclusion instead of like, oh, I'm heading out to sea. No, I'm not. Let's see, last minute thing. So there's that, which has led some to have hope that this means Carrot will actually join the Straw Hats and is secretly hiding in the ship like she did in the Whole Cake Island and what Robin did. Now, we'll see unofficially in the next chapter after this is out, but will not spoil whether or not it's confirmed Carrot has come aboard or not, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Now, whether or not the Straw Hats will get an 11th member remains to be seen. I mean, many people are at least expecting one last member because of Blackbeard's 10 Titanic captains. Now, who knows? It could still very much be Yamato, which we'll get to a bit later. Or maybe Carrot, but at the moment we do. But let's see. It's very possible that Vivi might just rejoin the Straw Hats and become, like, instead of being the 5.5 member, the 11th member of the crew, if you will. But at least until like the end of the series, and before she becomes like Queen of Alabasta again. Let's see, after taking over her father, but we'll have to wait and see on that part. But yeah, so let's see. Myself, of course, I was disappointed. I was really looking forward to Yamato joining the crew, but okay. But I feel like this is probably the best reason you could probably think of. But at the very least, I expect that after the Germa 66 excursion, German 66 cover thing, we're going to get Yamato's journey. Now, how long that will be, who knows, and how much of a gap Oda's going to do between this cover story and the next, and possibly the 101 remains to be seen. Though, I do feel like given the fact that we're on the final saga and the fact that apparently One Piece has another 103 years left, though, I'm still thinking that One Piece will probably end in 5 years, 2027, the 30th anniversary. Let's see, we have at least around 150 to 250 chapters left, so better to be quicker rather than later, I'd say, but we'll have to wait and see, but yeah. But yeah, but at the very least, I will get to see, but at the very least, I am still hoping that Yamato does join the crew a bit later down the line, or at least we get that cover story soon. But yeah. Anyway, besides that, I do like how I do like how Momonosuke, despite being so angry a bit earlier, and with Kimo, it's like, oh, we're gonna teach Luffy a lesson. How dare he disrespect me? As he thinks back to all the times they've been together with Luffy, and I was kind of hoping that, let's see, if there's going to be a flashback of all the times together, that it would have the one where Luffy and Momonosuke were fighting with each other, because I always found that bit of their interactions funny, and I was kind of disappointed that didn't really happen again when he's now an adult, but who knows? But yeah. And when he does finally confront Luffy, it's ready to be all, and you think he's all angry. It's like, you son of a bitch, you son of a gun. But then goes like, please don't go, and starts crying down and getting all emotional, showing that despite Ritzy full grown, but yes, he is still a child inside because, well, he just had he had to grow up the quick way rather than the normal way, if you will. And doesn't want Luffy to go and all that stuff because of just how much he's managed to help him and all that stuff, avenging his family and helping him smile again. He doesn't know what he'd do without him and around. But we have a Straw Hats just either smiling or being touched by how Momosuke, who missed them and all that stuff, if you will. However, Luffy realizes that. However, Luffy ends up managing to. I do like him. Kimemon's reaction to this is like, he's still a kid down inside. But I do like how, but the reason, like, let's see, we get the reason why Luffy is like, didn't go to them, didn't tell them straight away that he was leaving and saved them for last, was because he wanted to give them something. And this is arguably probably the best bit in the chapter where Luffy is giving them his, Straw Hat flag and saying that, yes, he's being and this is like being his like first official decision as a Yonko is to give, his pirate flag to Momosuke to like say that Wano is under his protection, his territory, if you will. Well, not territory like he rules the island, but more in the terms of like Whitebeard, that he will. Whitebeard, that if like these are his friends' islands, you mess with, like he was with fishermen, you mess with them, you mess with the Straw Hat pirates and all that stuff. So that flag will help them keep invaders, like other pirates or maybe even marines, not to mess with them. Otherwise, they'll be picking a fight, and Luffy and the others will come after them and all that stuff. So yeah. And even tells and even says that Momosuke is a part of his crew, so that kind of makes apparently Momosuke an unofficial Straw Hat. Now, from what I can tell, the wiki has not really. The One Piece wiki has not really put Momosuke as a Straw Hat or former Straw Hat like it has with Vivi. So, so he's an unofficial Straw Hat, if you will, but not probably on the same level as like Vivi was, or the wiki might just change it, but who knows? But anyway, but this is the bit where he says but I do like how he says that if Momosuke, him, and Kimino and Yamato ever decide they want to become pirates, they'll come to get them and all that stuff, saying that. So implying that at the very least that these characters will return. Now, whether or not Kimino will actually become a pirate himself, Momosuke and Kimino will become pirates, or at least maybe temporary pirates, like how Odin and the two Cat Viper and Dogstorm were for like Whitebeard and Roger. Remains to be seen, but I think it's safe to say that I have a feeling that Momosuke, Kimino, and Yamato, at the very least, will probably set sail with Luffy to at least to when they finally ready to go to Laugh Tale and learn the true history and learn why Odin wanted to open the borders. And then this is when Momosuke will make the decision to open the borders. This is why, I guess. They'll become part of the crew for that final part of the journey. Once, Luffy has found the final world poneglyph and all that stuff to do so. But yeah, I do like how, other than that, I do like how Luffy views Momosuke as like a little brother and all that stuff. in many ways, people have compared that to, I've seen some compare that to how Whitebeard viewed Odin like a brother rather than a son, which was rather different how he treated the rest of his crew and all that stuff. And after they said, and after leaving on like good terms and all that stuff, Momosuke decides, this is where like I like how Momosuke decides that he will surpass Odin one day. And Kimino says like he will look forward to that day and all that stuff. And Yamato's like, you mean me? It's like, no, not you, the actual Odin. So yeah, I do like that funny reaction. I have to admit, I'm surprised. I've been wondering how the Scabbards would react to like Yamato saying that I am Odin, though this is probably official for what we get. Other than that, I do like how when Law tells like Luffy that there'll be enemies now, let's see, Chopper trying to be friendly with Law as a fellow doctor, trying to say see you later, but he says like, Buzz, shut up, I'm not your friend and all that. So he's like, oh. So that, but other than that, I'd say the second funniest part is, by the way, after seeing I do like some of the new outfits the Straw Hats got. I do like how Nami seems to got some sort of apron over like a jumper or something. So seemingly just keeping his, of course, normal look. Let's see, Chopper and Brock a more casual look with like, let's see, just Brock a shirt where you can see his bone arms and all that stuff. So yeah, I do like that. I'm still a little disappointed Luffy didn't keep the cape. What's it with shonen characters getting capes and then, let's see, for one arc and tossing them another? But I do like how the Straw Hats are all prepared to set sail and take like the safe port, with like the more cowardly ones of like Chopper and Brock being like, yay, safety. But I do like how Kid just eggs on Luffy and Law to just go in their rivalry, saying that your wusses to like take the safe route, and it causes them to lose their cool and like saying we're jumping off the waterfall, despite their crew's witty protests. And it's like the last free panel bit there of those three jumping off and all that stuff was just hilarious. But now to get to the probably the most. Sorry, just taking a quick drink there. Controversial part of the arc is, let's see, the play at the end as the guy. I do like how he ends up describing it though, and I do find it interesting as it seems to confirm that this play does confirm that Orochis are dead. That seems to also imply that maybe. Let's see. Implies that Kaido and Big Mom did apparently die from the volcano explosion. I mean, it's still a bit unconfirmed on their Wiccan. I think, let's see, it's still a bit unconfirmed, but depending on this translation, but this one here the Viz one seems to imply that Kaido and Big Mom are indeed dead. So for those who are probably hoping for Big Mom to come back later and have a proper fight with Luffy, that's not happening, which probably is for the best, as it's, there's nothing more you can do with these two characters now that they've been beaten. But there's still some stuff you can do with the Big Mom pirates at the very least, as they now lost their leader. And now, and they're still active while the Beast Pirates are pretty much eliminated at this point. So you probably got Katakuri taking over. But anyway, it's interesting. But the biggest controversy of this play is apparently how Kurosaki in like when which I do like how apparently Orochi was able to survive just long enough to just with his head cut off, about how the Kumazuri's wrath will curse Wano to its last generation and all that stuff. But I do like how as it's been explained here, I was just determined as ever, pushes Dendro aside and declare what she says. But this is the bit where it gets controversial about apparently how the Kusumi was born to burn, like, you know, like how it was described in the play, like their name means charcoal and all that stuff. People assume that this is like her being prejudiced against the entire Kazumi clan, hoping they all burn and all that stuff, with the Wano citizens cheering, saying that they support, let's see, the genocide of this clan, and to continue discriminating and hating against this clan, even though the prejudice against the, let's see, Kurozumi clan for the actions of the, let's see, of like Orochi's grandfather, even though the rest were completely innocent of that crime at the very least. Feels like the citizens of Wano have learned nothing. Now, from my understanding, this is what people have been, well, this is what many people, at least I've seen online on Twitter, have come to this conclusion, and even some YouTubers who've reviewed the early chapters and all that stuff, the early, let's see, unofficial chapters, but the Viz one seemed, and apparently, let's see, and from what some other people online I saw on Twitter seem to be trying to clear up, is that it's she was not referring to like the Kuromazumi clan as a whole, but rather Orochi as an individual, saying that he was meant to born to burn like charcoal, like his name surname implies of charcoal and all that stuff, that he was supposed to burn and all that stuff like charcoal in a similar manner, and it's supposed to be some sort of Japanese play like pun style of like let's see, if quote kind of thing, kind of similar how to like Odin goes like, I was born to boil and all that stuff. Like that's what he ended up saying in his last moments, or attempted to say in his last moments. Ended up being halfway, of course, and the crowd had to say it. So that is the let's see, actual thing. It's just more of Orochi himself as a person. Let's see, rather than the entire family is meant to burn. So that, yeah, that's just a mistranslation thing, and it kind of goes to show you just how translations, when you end up, if you're not careful how you word it, the interpretation can be mishandled and all that stuff. And as we see here, it's no exception. I've known quite a few mangas that have had that sort of mistranslation. But yeah, so it's like that. But I can see why some people might still feel like this probably didn't resolve it enough. It feels like it could have been handled much better. I mean, I get the point about it. It's supposed to be some reference to some Japanese play kind of things, and with the way the pun goes and all that stuff. But I do feel like it probably would have gone better if Hiyoi went like, you Orochi Kazumi, or Kazumi Orochi, let's see, you were born to burn, all that stuff. Or at least said Orochi Kazumi was born to burn, or Kazumi Orochi was born to burn, like how they say it in Japan and all that stuff. But either way, that probably at least would have been a bit more clearer if Oda had written it like that, so we wouldn't have had this confusion. But yeah. So, but it is what it is. But I'm not but interesting note, I have heard, there's been some theories about how Tama might be descendant from the clan, and apparently one of the parents' grave initials might have implied that, which kind of goes to show that Orochi doesn't fully care about members of his clan besides himself. So it's more just his own vengeance, really. But yeah, I can see why this was like so controversial, and probably still will be, because it feels like no lessons would be learned, and this feels like a contradiction to like many of the previous chapters and themes and arcs and all that stuff about how the blood of just because you carry the blood of a criminal, you should not be paying for the crimes of the sin of their crimes and all that stuff, or you shouldn't prejudice against a group of people. All that stuff, given how that was like with like, you know, with like Ace and his bloodline to Raja, Robin from O'Hara, and of course, let's see, Rebecca from Dressrosa, from the Riku family, and of course the fisherman race and all that stuff. But yeah, now let's see here. But it does make it feel like the Ritzy Kazumi clan is the exception, but it's not. It's more of just a play that could have been better executed. But yeah, I'm going a bit of repeating myself now. But to talk about the final bit, I do like how you've got like, oh yeah, Toko's also playing Ritzy with Hero. I forgot to mention that. But I do like how you get all of like the one panel with like Momonosuke sitting with like all his like retainers behind him, along with Yamato and Tama and all that stuff, showing how everything's well, they're all happy together and all that stuff. Now, granted, from what I've been hearing, apparently Oda had, at least when it came to the last chapter, he had a particular panel he wanted to do, and many are assuming that it was probably this bit here, the narration about how the Kritzy Kazuki clan reclaimed the thing. But yeah, one thing I say, I do like how the Kritzy teacher describes the whole events in sort of like, it's a sort of theater-like manner to like the Wano crowd about how they were able to reclaim Wano and all that stuff. I should have probably mentioned that. But I wouldn't be surprised if the panel. Let's see, Oda wanted to do was the one of the Straw Hats and the West Generation jumping off the cliff. That could have also been Hiyori's Kasumi was born to burn. Apparently, even the way her pose was doing it and all that stuff might have been problematic. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's a bit better. Could have been better executed, or it's just like the closing curtains of Wano, if you will. But yeah, those are likely the three ones. And I do like how Momonosuke, the last thing we see of him is just wondering where he should place the flag and all that stuff. So yeah. I do like how we finally got like the end instead of like Act 3 end and all that stuff. But just like the end, it's like, yeah, this is the end of Wano. Overall, from overall score of this chapter, I have to give it probably a 6, or maybe let's see, out of 10 at best, or a 5 out of 10 at worst. Let's see, just mostly because like the stuff with like Luffy and Momonosuke are definitely the best bits, with like Momonosuke wanting Luffy to stay and all that stuff. Let's see, and Luffy giving Momonosuke his flag to say that, this island is now under their protection and all that stuff. And that like he's like a little brother to him, and he considers him possibly part of the crew, or at least at the very least, he's willing to have him, Kimio, and Yamato join the crew. And of course, the captains, the three captains of the Worst Generation, being idiots in their rivalry with one another. Causing them danger to the crew stuff. That stuff is all good. Even the narration of like how the 9 scabbards were able to free Wano, all that stuff, that was good, but I am still a bit disappointed the fact that Yamato is not joining the crew, as it feels like a sudden, last minute face turn and all that stuff, and doesn't feel natural, and just feels like, last minute. And I feel like the stuff with like Hiyori with the Kazumi was born to burn thing could have been handled much better. Otherwise, and we could have much better executed, and we probably could have had like we probably could have avoided the controversy because because of it. Someone saying that Hiro is like a racist, and saying that she's like apparently Zoro, because Zoro ends up fighting quite a fair share of dark-skinned One Piece characters now, and all that stuff. I'd rather not get into that, but let's see. So that might be a bit of a topic, let's see, on the social media debates. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it definitely goes to show that one hand, let's see, while I'm glad that we're finally have a conclusion to Wano, I do. This does seem to be some of the parts of like Oda speeding up to tie in to the film. Let's see, Red has probably may have, let's see, damaged the ending of Wano a bit. It might have had. Now, I still think this arc will still be very fondly remembered, but I can definitely tell that this last chapter might feel a bit weak compared to the rest of the arc. And even like these last few chapters will probably feel like a bit of a too quick a pace for most people. But yeah, no, I still think that the Wano arc, let's see, and the Raid no Megashima are still probably better than like the other Juggernaut arcs that you've probably had, like with Naruto's War arc and Bleach's War arc. Oh, and Fairy Tail's War arc. So yeah. So pretty not the best, pretty weak chapter to end on. Probably could have had at least another few more chapters to expand on some of the stuff that happened. But either way, let's see, I'm glad that we're finally, but I'm glad that we finally got the conclusion and all that stuff. I've enjoyed it for the most part. I'm hoping to see that we'll see these characters again soon. I'm very looking forward to the next arc, and from what I've seen from the unofficial, translations, I'm already hyped. But yeah, I'm Blue Star Saber, signing off. Thank you for listening to this review, or for those who have briefly popped by, or those who eventually come to watch this review later. I hope you enjoyed what I have to said. And for that, and for now, goodbye.